I was kidding.
All right. Let's wait and see what happens.
Sorry, Dwibs.
Last night.
I was trying to keep it a secret, but Dwibs just casually called it right there. It's like that moment in our Fencer F playthrough where Teo was trying to guess who Shiaki was and he missed, and then Dwibs out of nowhere, Shiaki's a spy, and I'm like, yes, very good, Dwibs. And it's just like...
Was that Dwibs or me who called?
No, it was Dwibs. You can... you even replied with... so Teo fails to call it, and Dwibs just casually does it right there. So...
I love how you have pretty much memorized our Fair Fencer F run word by word.
It's one of those playthroughs of ours that I put in for background noise and stuff like that. So
It's like he turned on the cold water.
It is certainly an epic of sorts, I guess.
That is our Final Fantasy VIII run. I also love that one in particular.
You're done.
It turned out exactly like how I've envisioned it for 5 years.
Oh, nice.
Let's see how much help Mr. Carling can provide to me today.
All right, so our phone
is either dead or low on battery.
The battery ran out. I can tell you what happened because later on we're going to charge it. So.
Got it. So it's dead.
Anyway, might as well recap real quick. The notebook. Sean has been making drawings about how fuck. Why this happened to us and that stupid cop and shit and blah 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 blah. That's basically it. Alright, so now that we've washed up, let's go to the table. For the record, washing up at the bathroom is optional. I just did it for the sake of, showing stuff off.
Our table now.
The great table takeover of 2016.
Let's see.
Indeed.
What do we got here?
Okay, now we have what I think is an incredibly annoying, I guess, minigame. Where...
Where's the food? Oh,
there it is. Well, I think the food they're saving it for later. They just have a bottle of water there, I think, or maybe it's just whatever. The point is,
whatever.
The point is, now the game is going to ask us to find our next location on the map screen, and it's annoying as fuck because the game, in my opinion, doesn't make it very clear where I'm supposed to point. But you'll see.
South, I guess.
Right on. Pro tip: don't feed the bears. See you later.
Well, yeah, don't feed the animals.
I mean, I guess that's helpful.
Whoa, that's a big map.
If there's a place you gotta go, I'm the one you need to know.
Yes, it's the map.
Is this supposed to be Washington?
I'm surprised that they kept on the actors for the map and the backpack and the New Dora movie.
You have to be somewhere in there.
Hey,
Kudos.
Okay, I'm not doing anything. This is the game doing it automatically for a bit.
We were near Mount Rainier yesterday, but it's miles away now. Let me show you where we are, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now I have to pick where we to show and then where we are on the map. Thing is, okay, maybe it's just because I don't know much about Seattle's geography, Washington's geography, sorry. But I don't really know where. So I just kind of randomly point until I find the right spot.
I'd assume you need to at least go towards like one of the gas stations.
Yeah, it's right now it's on my bad because I'm not putting to the gas station. Obviously, it would be one of the gas station bits, but I don't know which one is which. Okay, I'm sure someone who's familiar with Washington, they will know immediately. Oh, okay, it's clearly here, but I personally don't. And the game. Go on. No, go on.
If I recall correctly, the game did mention the address that we're on at the start of the chapter, so I guess if you were paying attention to that, it's fine. That being said, I mean, you'd be excused for not paying attention to that one detail.
Definitely not.
I don't know, it feels like this feels like it's just in there just to give the player something to do, because this is not really a challenge. It's not really something the player is necessarily deciphering puzzle-wise or anything like that. I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's just you might as well have made this a cutscene. There's not really any reason for this to be player-driven.
I'll admit, that's kind of how I felt during their bonding scene around the campfire. Don't get me wrong, the choices were interesting there, but All the
Or can
same,
this
it feels
be-
like something that could have just been summed up in a cutscene.
Definitely
Well,
not.
yeah, I don't know if I've asked this before, but how much do your choices actually matter in the grand scheme of things?
Oh,
this story.
Well, since this is going to take a bit, might as well answer Jova's question. Okay. The idea behind the choices, Jove, is that you shape Daniel's morality.
This is it.
Basically, a lot of times you're going to have choices where you have to basically make a moral choice with Daniel, and Daniel's morality will shift according to your choices. The problem is the way the concept that thing is executed. For reasons that I
I was
will.
about to ask.
Don't worry. Later on in this part, we're going to have our first major choice that affects Daniel's morality, and I will. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
All right, Shiroi.
just
Brace yourself.
Seems dangerous to be out here all alone. But maybe you're the ones who need to be watched.
Yeah, he sounds southern.
Excuse
No,
me.
hold on. He sounds like he's got a Western accent as opposed to Southern.
Hold on.
Sir, we paid for this. And the map was free.
Well, let's go inside. You can show us what you bought.
No, thanks.
Well, that.
We have to go.
Nope. You're going inside. Don't make this worse for yourself, kid.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah.
So we can choose to either discuss, attack, or
Attack him.
flee. I'm going to
Attack him.
I'm going to take the diplomatic approach because I don't want to.
Fun.
Excuse us, sir. We were just hiking. I swear.
Then let's find out if you're telling the truth. Come on.
But we have to get going.
Sean,
It's okay. Look, our dad is waiting for us.
Okay. You can call him from our phone. Now let's go.
Don't touch me.
Don't do it, boy. Let
Yeah, he's
Jesus!
southern.
My brother.
Yeah, you were asking, I think, off commentary what accent this guy had. Yeah, he's southern. So
He's-
basically, he literally is a stereotypical Southern American race.
He just physically attacked two children.
No, Dibs. His accent sounds more Western than Southern.
Whatever. He has an accent. Look.
Wait, now
one
he's
they-
kidnapped them?
Yeah, he trapped Sean in here.
Oh, wait. Hold on. So apparently he has recognized them as the fugitives.
Yes,
guess.
very good, Jova. Don't worry, Jova. That's not the only reason, as you're about to hear.
So what, is he a bounty hunter?
You'll see.
Oh shit. Daniel. No.
Oh god, don't tell me the guy's a pedophile.
No, fortunately not. They don't go for that.
Sure about this, eh?
Yeah, because he's such a shining example of humanity without being there.
Oh, trust me, though. He's about to get worse.
I'll let you deal with it.
Oh, hey there. You finally awake? Sorry. I was
Where the
scared.
fuck did this plotline come from? Seriously, I just.
How's your stomach?
You punched him.
What do you think, you dipshit?
I'm gonna tell the police you kidnapped me.
Nice try. But I know who you are and what you did in Seattle.
Very good, Jova.
Yes, because
Maybe
the
I should
newspapers
call ICE
always
for
tell the
being
truth. Isn't that right, Shiroi?
I'm American.
Hillbilly.
Hold on.
He just kicked him in the head.
Yep.
Going to jail for this.
For the record, dude, this doesn't give you an excuse to do all this shit.
Pretty sure the local police will vouch for me over a thug like you.
Jesus Christ.
Where's my brother?
Hold on, Jova. Hold on, Jova. It gets better.
Shit took off. I'll find him.
Wait, the kid got away from him?
Yes.
How did you let that little boy get away?
I don't know.
I think as a little boy, but you'll
Hold
have
on.
someone who's barely any older than he is.
Yeah, listen to this.
Safe for a little kid. If he's lucky, he won't end up like his criminal big brother.
Just let me
So he thinks
hold
Daniel's
on.
good.
Hold on.
Build that wall.
I can.
Wait a minute,
I
hold on.
can. Go on.
Okay. Let me dissect this for a bit. His dialogue seems to suggest that he thinks Daniel won't turn out a criminal like his brother, which would imply he's not racist against all of them, except then the wall line comes out, so that would imply that he is racist against all of them, except he seems to have a preference for Danny, saying that, oh, well, he won't turn out a criminal like you, like, I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure what to think from this. Like, it's not even just about that they make him so unbelievably evil, but it's like, they can't seem to even decide what form of racist he is.
Oh my god, I can literally feel the fist of the writers being shoved up my ass. I just like, holy shit.
I'm sorry.
They literally throw the wall bomb on you. Go on, Drips.
Yes.
Alright, okay, just to be absolutely clear, I have seen people react towards storylines that involve racism, and how it comes off and how they say it can make it come off like they're at least at the very best. They're just they just let racism go off the leash, or worse, kind of trying to hide that they're a little bit racist themselves. I just want to make clear that's not what we're about.
Sure.
We're not.
I mean,
we're not like that. We're not saying it's bad for somebody to point out racism.
Sure.
like, here's the thing, though. It's not even really well written, because, again, like, I don't know why the guy is acting like, oh, Daniel won't be a criminal like Sean, yet he implies he's racist against both of them, so, like, if he were that racist, shouldn't he assume that both of them will turn out criminals?
Stupid writing, Jova. That's what's going on here.
So, and again, what is he, a bounty hunter? Some guy who just took the law into his own hands to turn them into the police? Like, and again...
Option D,
says,
all of the above. There you go. Go on.
I'm right here.
Like,
Are you okay?
another problem is, again, he says, oh, the police will believe me over you. Like, dude, the kid's face is bloodied and beat up. What are the police supposed to believe?
Hey,
That he beat himself
you're
up?
doing great.
Yeah.
Totally fooled them.
Do you have anything to say about this, Shuri?
Thanks to you.
This
I have a
is
chance of getting out of
yikes.
here.
Yeah.
Lots of yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, we
Go
don't
on.
know the context on if the whole police force is racist. Like, maybe we're supposed to assume stuff, but
gotta be a way
silly me, last I heard, assuming stuff of people can be discriminatory in and of itself.
Yeah, like this is going to. Now I can bring it up. This is the big problem. One of the big problems of this game, the way it tackles racism. This game's way of tackling racism is by making every racist person an evil, raging lunatic who's looking for minorities to beat the crap out of. I'm not kidding. This is not going to be the last time we see something like this. In fact, it actually gets worse.
Not all racists even operate like that. Some are more.
Yeah, exactly.
For lack of a better term, cunning about it.
Let me put it this way.
Or
There's
hell, some people can just be incredibly ignorant of their own racism.
there's a
It's like, just
spectrum.
look at the difference. It's like, look at the difference between the way America is racist and the way the UK is racist. Like, they are different.
Yeah, there's a spectrum of racism. Not every racist is a raging lunatic who's looking for minorities to beat the crap out of. That's not how the world works, don't nod.
And not for
Don't
nothing.
get me wrong, there are people like that. I'm not trying to deny that those people exist. The problem is that this game will always portray racists like this. Remember the bully from the first part, this guy, and there's also going to be another guy later that we haven't met yet. That's this game's way of tackling racism. Just have racists beat the crap out of minorities, and that's it.
And far be it from me to, denounce someone who portrays racism for the ugly and stupid thing it is. However, you know how... I'm just gonna say this. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't exactly get his, revolution going about by just claiming everyone against him was dumb and stupid. I'm just saying, there's a way to go about doing this stuff.
Basically. It's one of those things where, again, the game wants to tackle the topic of racism, but again, like she always said various times, this team is utterly and completely incapable of tackling whatever it is, because they are terrible. At this point, after the original Life is Strange and now this one, I am now in a position where I can tell you, Raul, Michelle, you suck at your job.
And
Like,
apparently a lot of people
a
agreed because,
screwdriver,
again, the
a wrench,
reception and sales to this
anything.
game were not kind.
I don't have anything against them as people. I don't know them, but they definitely should never write and direct a game ever
There should be
again.
some tools nearby.
Like, I'm sorry, here's the thing. When you are tackling a subject matter this serious, you best be prepared to take on the criticism you get if you drop the ball.
Yep.
Because again, a message like this that ends up getting misrepresented or miscalculated, again, that can do damage in the grand scheme of things. It shouldn't be like that,
This is it.
but God help
You're wrong,
me, it
Daniel.
is unfortunately how it do be.
It's when I'm not kidding you. When I first played this game on Steam, because I played this game for the first time blind and everything. When I got to that part where the old guy literally drops it's folks like you that, because of people like you that we have to build that wall. I'm not kidding you. I literally laughed out and I'm going, don't do this to me, game. Like, what the fuck? And trust me, if you think this guy's bad, trust me, there's going to be another bigot later on that makes this guy seem like a choir boy. I'm not kidding you. Like, it actually gets worse from this, believe it or not, as if this isn't already bad enough.
You know, given the fact that the wall never even got built or completed, kind of makes that having aged badly too.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I get it. There could be some people like that. But again, in the context of the story, nothing has been explained well enough to get that scene off the ground. I'm sorry.
Look at how it works with in Zootopia, like we've talked about before. In Zootopia, we have someone like the villain who's incredibly racist towards predators, right? Like incredibly, like to the point of wanting to literally ruin every predator's lives. Whereas in contrast, we have our protagonist, who is much more, like Jova said earlier, she's ignorant of her own racism. She has her own biases against foxes because of what happened to her in her childhood, and she herself tries to convince herself that she doesn't have that, even though later on we found out that she herself is also victim of her own prejudices. So again, there are various different spectrums of racism. Not every racism is. Okay, here we go, Jova. Here's the bit that you were talking about. So now we get our first major moral choice in the game.
I don't know what happened.
So the guy apparently owns the gas station?
Don't worry, Jova. We're going to explain what happened later.
He killed people.
So now we can either leave or steal the camping gear from him. And here's the problem. Here's where the choices become a problem. If you choose to steal the camping gear, Daniel will interpret this as it's okay to steal, period. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. Like Rybread said in his review, apparently Daniel is not a context-based creature. Even at 9, he should be able to understand that just because you steal from a racist bigot who kidnapped you doesn't mean you steal from everybody.
Also, so how heavily does this actually affect the story regarding Daniel's mentality? Like, does that mean also gameplay changes as well? Or
It affects mostly the ending.
What are you doing out here, man? You almost scared the shit out of me.
So yeah, as you guys can see, Brody is the designated helping nice character to help our heroes get out of this one, basically.
Tied me up in his back office. I swear.
Say no more. I believe you. Okay?
Is he gonna be murdered by somebody later on?
Surprisingly, no. Dwebs, go on, Jova.
Okay. To Brody's credit, Sean is beat up, so I guess he has a good enough reason to at least want to help get the kids away from there.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, did I tell you or did I tell you?
Well, that was a lot, huh?
It was a lot, and we're not done yet. We're only 20 minutes in at this part, Shiroi. We're not done.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm noticing a running problem already. this game wants to wow you with its dramatic scenes that really push the envelope. The problem is, it doesn't take the time or effort to actually properly build up to these scenes or explain their context. So instead of being horrified by it strictly, I find myself scratching my head at this, and the more I think about it, the more I realize this is dumb, and they're going the most blunt and rather inefficient way of trying to say racism is bad, which, yes, racism is bad.
I don't know, throw in a little racism. There you go. See?
The problem is, you gotta have more to that.
That line, welcome to Redneck Clem.
My dad said there were more Bigfoots.
This is a comedy. I'm sorry, am I supposed to take this seriously?
Like, I get it, redneck clan, rednecks usually racist. I don't know, is the truth.
Oh my god.
Again, like,
Some amazing
look,
people on the road too.
I can get the intentions behind this game,
Under the blanket.
but good intentions do not automatically a good product.
Hell is
make.
paved with good intentions, like people say.
Yep. Yeah,
And look at that.
So, yeah.
Daniel stole the pupper. So there you go, Shiroi. If it's consoles you, Shiroi, we get a pupper. So there's that.
Wait a minute,
Wait a dog. Wait, I'm confused.
Daniel stole it.
Remember
Remember
the dog
from the store.
the store when the door showed us in the last part?
Yep.
Wait.
Those mean people.
Wait. Those mean people, but it was just the one guy. Or are they implying that...
Wait.
Mean a dog.
Yes, Shiroi.
Yes.
That dad would agree.
So,
Just stop.
they're stealing the dog, right?
You will.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you choose to steal the camping kit,
Thanks, Sean.
that's a bad
So
thing, but this is okay.
You figured that one out,
You made the
Shiroi.
point- Listen, you made the point that that it'll lead Daniel to believe there's like, oh, stealing is just okay, and it isn't like a morally gray thing. But now they're pulling this?
Yep.
Huh?
You figured that one out, Shiroi. Oh, also, I have to say, Daniel just named the dog Mushroom. Daniel, you suck at naming things. That's a weird.
Cute.
I don't know. That feels like a weird name for a dog.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. That being said, though, sure, raises a good point. Like,
Mushroom it
what
is.
was the point of raising a moral choice to teach Daniel whether or not stealing is okay when he steals the dog either way? If anything, this just makes Daniel out to be a disobedient little brat.
Oh, it's interesting you say that, Jova. Stay tuned.
But Jova, he's okay, that's the thing though. One thing that people constantly bring up, even the couple of people I know, they always bring up the whole he's insert age here as if it's an excuse.
No, I'm sorry. Being 9 or 10? Again, I'm sorry.
you've been on the
He
road
should
for a
be
while.
able to discern some stuff better at that age, if he's that close to being a teenager.
And here's the brody's backstory. Basically, he has a rich family, but as he says, they have no soul, so he took off after school. Basically,
So,
Because as we all know,
rich people are evil.
as we all,
Protest.
yeah, exactly.
well, okay.
Whatever.
I'm not going to stuff at that. There are.
Oh, I have to interrupt you here.
Everything is political, Sean.
Everything is political. Oh my god.
No.
I wouldn't say everything is, but to say nothing is political is also
No.
inaccurate.
Nobody is saying nothing's political, but the whole everything is political card, that just comes like off as an excuse that you would hear on Twitter to suddenly make a big deal out of something that is clearly not a big deal.
It's amazing. Subtlety does not exist in this game's vocabulary.
And again, it's like I said before, subtlety doesn't always mean good.
Sure,
Let me
but
put
okay. How about tact? Would you prefer that then? Go on, Jova.
It's more accurate, I suppose, yeah.
Let me put it like this, Dwibs. Under the logic of, oh, everything's political, then under that logic, you could say, oh, based off of your opinions of Mario Kart, that means that you are a racist little prick, or...
Jova, what are you talking about? Mario Kart has always been a political commentary on how on the inequalities of the rich between the rich and the poor. I mean, Princess Peach and Princess Daisy, for example. They can afford to have the fancy-looking cars. What do Mario and Luigi, the poor people, get? Just regular ass go-karts.
I have a question. How is Professor Layton political?
Well, you see, it shows that those who do not have enough pick rats are clearly those of the lower class.
I guess.
Hoarding pick rats themselves are in the 1%.
Now, I'm sorry to bring up this joke outside of the commentary itself. We're literally going through a game in the Layton series right now where British people go to different parts of the world and take artifacts from the locals, alright?
Yeah, Pedro, you kind of walked into that one.
Allow me to quote Across the Spider-Verse, and here's where the British stole our stuff. But I digress.
Also, Layton's about to go to America. I'm sure there'll be some political conflict going on.
That's the thing though, Joe. That's A, accurate, and B, actually kind of funny in the way he delivered the line.
It is. I wasn't implying that it wasn't. But let me go back to the thing about the dog. So, Daniel says we can't leave her with these mean people. I'm sorry, is he implying that Doris was evil as well? Like, I don't know,
She was clenching her teeth as she was...
I have no fucking...
She considers the inferior race.
To answer your question, Jova, I have no fucking clue. The writers lost the plot.
Oh, so they never explained whether or not Doris was actually working with the man.
I mean, I'm guessing we're supposed to assume that they're husband and wife, but... Oh, look at that, guys! Look! It's Arcadia Bay from the first game. And since we chose
we're in Oregon.
Basically, Shira, if we choose to sacrifice Chloe in the first game, Arcadia Bay is intact. If we don't, if we sacrifice Arcadia Bay is destroyed in that. So there you go, Shira. This is what the thing changes. Whether Arcadia Bay in the background is destroyed or not, that's what it changes.
It also changes some other stuff that I'm aware of, but I won't spoil.
One more thing. It changes one more thing, but again, it's yet another minor thing that just makes it like, why even bother connecting the two games if you're not going to make it significant?
It was so fast.
You're telling me.
Alright, so... yeah, it was I'm going to have to blame the police on this one.
Daniel just wanted to play zombie outside. Our shithead neighbor was picking on him. I got in a fight. So Dad came out to help. Somebody called the cops and...
Wait, somebody called the... That's not what we were shown?
1 second.
I don't remember anyone calling the cops. I remember the cop just showed up there.
Well, maybe he's just assuming that they were called then and he wasn't just in the area.
Well, yeah, plus he's in a... I can't believe I'm making excuses for the game now. His head's all over the place.
But the thing is, Shira, let's think about this for a moment. The time that was spent in between Daniel leaving the house and the cop arriving was not like, what, 2 minutes tops? How would, in 2 minutes, the confrontation start and someone had the time to both call the cops and the cops would have the time to also arrive within that time?
Okay.
The police station is very nearby. I don't know.
No, I got it. I got it. The guy who called the police
was the police.
The police called themselves.
No, sure. I'm going to go even deeper. The guy, without provocation, brought up what race they were, and the police officer instantly, who thinks, oh god, those evil Mexicans, he drove over to the scene as fast as he could, just so he could get his hands on them.
I'm having fun.
I guess in a sense, dispatch could have gotten the call and then radioed out to the nearest police officer in the area, and that's how it could have shown up in 2 minutes, but look at all this, us going through hoops to try and make sense of this.
Exactly. See,
we were doing this with Balan Wonderworld.
See, now I can answer your proper.
Barely had a plot.
Now I can answer your question
unless you get the novel.
All right, Jova. Now I can answer your question from the first part properly. See, Jova, the problems of this game are so obvious, and devoid of any need for me to explain it. That I just laughed my ass through this. That's how I enjoy this game. I just laughed my way through at the absurdity.
You see, Sean, you gotta weather the storm, or your little brother.
He needs you.
Yeah, that's actually basically what he's saying. Actually, yeah, you have to be strong for your brother because you two are all alone. But that's basically what he's saying right now.
I mean, this scene isn't the worst, and again, I feel like Brody is fine. You know, that stupid line of everything being political aside. The problem is, again, even if I were to consider this a good scene, I'm sorry, it's surrounded by a ton of just unbelievably stupid.
Yeah, I also love the context of where that line comes from. Like he's like, "Oh, I write blogs for zines and about trying to make a positive change," and that's where Sean goes, "Oh, so you're all political and stuff," and that's where he says, "Everything is political, Sean."
So, are we not even going to stop in Arcadia Bay? We're just
Nope.
seeing it.
That's literally your reward for playing the first game, I guess. Like you just get to see it in the background. Go on, Shirai.
I thought I was the
If you pick the other ending, do you just drive past it and not acknowledge it at all, or
No.
do you see the ruin?
The characters never acknowledge the city itself, Shiroi. We just see it in the background, either intact or destroyed, depending on the choice. That's it.
Okay.
Well, I was wondering, like, well, do they mention there was an accident here that occurred?
Maybe Brody mentions like in a throwaway line, but I will argue that's not enough still.
You have family there?
Now, granted, to my knowledge, there is one relatively, let's call it major aspect
Yes.
from the game that does show up in the sequel, but yeah, no, I do have to agree, like,
No.
I mean, the connections to this in the first game are
Tenuous at best.
very minuscule. And I get it, maybe some would say, well, maybe it's just the idea is to be a sequel in the same sense. Well, the thing is, there feels like there is little connection to this outside of, kids with supernatural powers.
There is one more thing, Joe. Listen in the moment.
We've shot the shit long enough. Time to hit the road.
So
There you go.
where's
See,
it gonna drop them off?
Jonathan Morale is playing the Max and Chloe theme from the first game. There you go. Welcome to Arcadia Bay. So there you go. That's the connection. You see the city, you see the sign, and Jonathan Morale plays the Chloe and Max theme from the first game.
Hey guys, remember this?
Remember the first game? Yes, we do. It was garbage. It was garbage. So
Again. Remind me. By the time this game came out, were people starting to turn on the original Life is Strange, as in, maybe this wasn't as great as it was, or
I wasn't
again,
paying attention.
realizing-
I wasn't paying attention to the Life is Strange scene at the time, so I wouldn't know.
Well, again, like Shuri mentioned, a bit of the grab might have been also that it was one of the most notable representations of
At the time,
yeah.
with characters in the forefront.
Hmm.
Which is, I'll have to look up to see what people think about it these days. I mean, in terms of queer people, because I see a lot of people streaming True Colors, which I know is a different beast, but they never seem to mention the original game before, and I know people have played it, so I'll have to see what people actually think of it now.
I can
From
tell.
the video reviews I've seen from people who liked it, a few do go on. It's like, I was a teenager and this game spoke to me as a kid, but now I realize it's not.
I actually have seen plenty of reviews online talking of people who played this when they were at the age of the characters, and there's a review that actually talks about when you're playing a game like this in high school, it has a different effect on you and stuff like that. That's what they usually say.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go on,
No, that's
Jova.
But it's like no. From what I've heard of True Colors will probably go down in history the best of any of these games. Like, not that it's amazing per se, but it at least seems to be a game that actually has a decent plot that doesn't,
Which is interesting.
Just rely on how much it speaks to certain people.
Which is interesting because a lot of hardcore Life is Strange fans from the beginning, from back in 2015, OG fans, they don't care much for True Colors because they find it very vanilla in its story. Like, for example, to give you guys an idea, that guy that I talked about, Rybread, who's a big fan of the first game but hates this one, he doesn't care for True Colors because For example, to give you an idea, like he doesn't care much for the characters in True Colors because he finds them way too vanilla and nice and not really interesting. And he defends Chloe, but at least by saying that at the very least with Chloe they were trying to make her, not at the very. But okay, I don't want to, I don't want to denounce this review. I'm not trying to badmouth him or anything like that. But the point is, he's one of those guys who definitely doesn't care for stories where everybody's nice and nobody has major flaws. So I guess it's one of those things. Sorry, go on.
I guess we have to see for ourselves to judge, but as the only person of us who's experienced True Colors so far, what's your take on the game?
I like True Colors. It's okay. I can tell you, Jova, that it's the first time in many of these games where I genuinely really love the LGBT relationship.
I think we need a
Because first of all, your love interest in that game is Stephanie, who you might remember is one of the characters we really liked in Before the Storm. So yeah.
Nice.
The D&D girl, in case you forgot, Yuri.
I won't. I swear.
Okay, have a time, please, guys.
Good 36 or something.
Come on. Look, it's a stick.
I forget. Could you actually have a threesome in that game?
3602.
Between the... Oh, right.
No, you cannot have a threesome. You either pick... hold on, give me a moment. Let me just cue Dwebs in real quick.
Sure.
And...
Come on, mushroom.
click. In True Colors, your protagonist is bi, and you can choose between a male love interest or a female love interest, basically.
Neat.
Well,
Would you say that it ever felt like they were playing things a little safe? Because, again, the Life is Strange series up to that point had kind of a history of definitely wanting to have controversial characters.
Even though I do enjoy the game, I will concede
it's right there.
one point to the dissenters that you can tell the game was made as a direct response to the backlash of this game because they try super hard to be as safe and not piss off anybody as they can. Which again, it's a nice commendable effort, but if you go too far of that, you can create a game that doesn't have a spine. Not that I think True Colors doesn't have a spine. It's just that I can see how someone can see it that way.
Are you?
I guess if I were to play devil's advocate, like, try being in that team's shoes. Like, you essentially are like the side team of Life is Strange.
Yeah.
And your first game was, well, kind of laughed off the stage because Before the Storm is hokey. And now it's your job to try and keep the series from floundering after the main guys in charge managed to make an even bigger mess than you in their second game. So I guess they could have felt the pressures. Maybe they'll try and give the next story a bit more light, but
it's not even just the safeness aspect of it. It's also the fact that The Life is Strange 1 in a lot of ways feels like a remake of the first game. Like they basically drew a lot of the same plot beats. You can tell it was made specifically to please fans of the first game specifically, like because look, this is more akin to how the first game was and shit like it's literally a genuine attempt at crowd pleasing in every meaning of the word.
And yet, ironically, this might be one of the few times where it worked because despite there being dissenters, again, True Colors seems to be, for the most part, overall the most generally beloved of the games, at least generally beloved without losing its steam like the first game did.
True Colors tends to be really liked from what I've seen. It's in the Life is Strange community from what I can tell, in the Life is Strange community, it's kind of a 50-50 ratio, where half of the fan base really likes it and thinks it's a great return to form. The other half thinks that they appreciate that it's not as much of a mess as the second game, but they also think that the game is not particularly interesting. It depends on who you ask.
So, couldn't Brody have just, dropped them off somewhere closer to civilization, or maybe taken them for more of a ride, given how again, they're
to be fair, if he stays with them, he's bound to be arrested for being an accomplice as well, and I'm guessing Sean doesn't want him involved because he has no blame in any of this. Also, remember when I said that the money system amounts to nothing? There you go. No matter what you bought, in that store, you lose it because of the racist bigot, and Brody gives you $50 to spend on things. And keep in mind, after we end this episode, in this next part, the money also stops being relevant as well. So the money system is completely fucking pointless. I don't even know why it's even there.
Actually, it's not even that we lost it from the bigot, because I saw it. The counter was still at like 15 something, and then $30 was
I'm not
added.
talking about the money. I'm talking about the items we bought at the store before we are encountered with the bigot.
Okay.
Because
so we took the items, but not the money.
Well, I get the feeling he took all the items from yeah, but he didn't take the money. That's weird. I don't know what to tell you, Joe, but this game is stupid.
Yes, you're right.
That was a really nice moment and all, but I'm worried there's still like 15 minutes left of this part.
Oh well, if it helps you, Shiroi, we're going to take a break from the racism now.
I mean, I do agree with Shuri. Like, again, he's not perfect, but I do feel like Brody is at least well, again, he doesn't have the biggest of competition, but Brody honestly feels like the best written character in the plot so far. This is genuinely a good guy. He doesn't feel like he's absolutely Jesus or anything. He has a backstory that some could relate to, and he seems to give genuinely helpful advice.
It's probably not a good time to tell you guys that after the end of this episode, we never meet him again. Like we can look at his blogs over the course of the game to see what kind of things he's been writing. But after the end of this part, he stops being relevant, basically.
Well, we can't have shit, can we?
Yep.
Okay. Actually, Shuri, be grateful for that, because as like I said before, I thought the guy was going to turn out to be like a closet racist or homophobe or something.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past this game to do that. So.
Because
it would be kind of like what Life is Strange 1 did with the professor, who turned out to be the main antagonist.
Go on, Jova. Sorry, Blips.
Because guy in his mid-30s is a bit overweight and has a giant beard. They're all homophobic, right?
Yes, of course, that makes sense.
Like every person who has a distinct appearance has some stereotype attached.
Because people totally choose how they look like, don't they?
Well, I mean, you can choose to have a beard and that, but even so, having a beard don't make you a bigot. Hell, there's plenty of clean-shaven people who are bigots.
So it's that easy. Okay, maybe it's one of those motels that's a bit more liberal with that stuff, but really, that easy to get in?
Brody paid for our stay here, if it helps you.
Okay, fair enough then.
Basically, he gave us some money. Yeah, he paid us this hotels for us so we can have a good night's sleep, and after that we can be on our way.
Given it's a motel, I can buy this a lot easier, like, now if a hotel, you would have to definitely have, at the very least a lobby to go through or whatnot. Motels are a lot more easy with that stuff.
Remember, this is kind of, we had something like this in Heavy Rain as well, where two of our main characters stayed in motels, in the motel rooms, so.
So is it always set that you'll lose this one?
Lose what, sorry?
Rock, paper, scissors duel.
Oh, that. No, you can win, but it doesn't matter. Like, it only slightly changes the dialogue.
So, in regards to Daniel's morality, is it like a good end or a bad end? Like, the bad end is if Daniel grows up to be a criminal or something, but the good end is that he actually goes on to be an honorable Chief Justice of the court.
Depending on your morality, it will change one major action Daniel can take in the ending, and also changes what possible ending he gets as a character in general. You'll see for yourself.
Alright then. Would you say it's at least an ending that really makes you feel like stuff did matter, or is it like Beyond Two Souls where...
I will say that, technically you can... Technically the ending is dynamic enough, but honestly, the same thing I said in Heavy Rain and the Typical Human applies. I don't give a rat's ass how dynamic your ending is. If it's all shittly written, it's just all for... What's really the goal here?
Also, not for nothing, but I'll admit, sometimes I forget that Daniel's apparently supposed to be, I guess, the main figure in the story. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like the story at times loses focus of the whole main idea of, oh, you're supposed to show Daniel the right way. Like,
Joe, but don't even get me started.
Sometimes I think it's just about racism is bad, or, hey, the fact that they had to deal with their dad being on the run. But no, you're telling me the end game is actually showing Daniel what's right in life.
Trust me, Jova. You know what to get me started on how unfocused this plot is.
Does it get even more in focus
Yes,
later down the
yes,
line?
beginning at the next part, but we'll see.
Again, I'm trying to remember ratio-wise how long it took for us to get to this point with the first Life is Strange. Don't get me wrong, Chloe was always a pill or whatnot, but Jesus, like, okay, I'd say that for the most part with Life is Strange, you can calculate most of those problems having to do with Chloe, because the game, for all intents and purposes, revolves around her, right down to her death being the thing that is meant to save countless people from dying. This one, though, again, the plot feels incredibly unfocused, so God help me, I guess I can say the first Life is Strange game at least had focus. Mind you, it was focused on a pretty bad character, but there was focus.
Alright, there you go. Now we're going to address the whole phone thing. Now he has to get rid of this specific phone because, you know, the police can track it. So only now the game is acknowledging the fact that phones can be tracked.
Let me guess, he wanted to keep it around just so he could say goodbye to Lyle. Yeah, there we go.
Sean, I see where you're online. Where are you? I'm worried AF, blah, 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 blah.
The police keep asking questions. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. Only now you're thinking to get rid of your phone? How have the police...
And look at that,
not
Jova. It's we can choose to either call her back or don't call her back.
Give the girl a peace of mind. Also, that has got to be one of the fastest charging phones ever.
Damn, Pedro, you're cold.
It's two things to it. It's two things to it. One, by calling her, it makes it easier for them to track us. Second, I don't really care about Lila. The game didn't really do a good job in making me care about her.
He's got a phone, they'll track him anyway.
Yeah, like I said, it's like we've said, the police should have tracked him at this point already if they hadn't before. Yeah, honestly, I would have at least called Lila. I mean, again, she wasn't amazing, but I guess she's one of the better characters in this game so far, which is more an attestament to just how lamely written most characters are, but all the same, damn.
It's one of those things where I just, like, I don't care. Like,
what about pretty much most people are saying, please contact us? Like, oh, look at that. Not everyone in this world is...
Brody got us a room. He is a boss. He even left us some cash. Sure, hope we meet him again one day. We won't. Chilling a bit. Been ages. Real beds. Almost too comfy to be true. Didn't call Lila. Too dangerous. Might get her in trouble. Now phone went out for a midnight swim. Wait, but I haven't phoned the phone yet. Yeah, it's a continuity error.
I guess he wrote it in anticipation. Okay, question. Does the story change drastically if you speak to Lila or not?
Basically, you can make it so that Lila shows up at the ending or not. Thing is, the end, she doesn't even say anything. She's just kind of there in the background, so I don't even care, to be honest with you. The payoff is not really worth it, in my opinion.
Didn't you mention that, like, Sean could have either a male or female love interest?
Well, yeah, and one of them is potentially Lila.
Tell Daniel the truth.
Well, then, if Lila Berry features, then...
That's the thing, Jova. Your reward for trying to keep in contact with Lila is just her showing up in the ending in one scene, and she doesn't say anything. So, to be honest, I don't really consider it worth pursuing if the payoff is lame. Sorry.
So who's the male love interest then?
A hippie dude that we meet at the end of chapter 2. Episode 2, sorry.
Let me guess, he has more chemistry with Sean than Lila.
That's the thing, Jova. I don't find these characters to have chemistry with anybody because the characters in this game are not particularly well written, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, like, I'm sorry, even with Daniel and Sean, I don't know, I haven't been able to pinpoint it
this
exactly,
bit.
but something...
Let me just quickly say, Jova, Brody just told him earlier that you have to tell Sean. So Sean plans on telling Daniel about the dad's death now, right after getting him a drink because he just asked for one. So let's do that.
I wonder what might happen. But anyway, though, like I don't know, I haven't been able to put my finger on it completely, but something about the dynamic between Daniel and Sean doesn't feel like they have the best chemistry either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's intentional or whatnot, but I
mean,
feel like something's
that doesn't make sense. They grew up together. Like as someone who can relate to Sean a lot because the age difference between the two of them is very similar to mine. Okay, here we go. Listen to Sean's voice acting in this part, by the way.
Oh my god. Daniel! What's happening? Daniel, calm down!
You lied! Dad!
He saw the dad's death on the news. There you go.
Why?
Oh, wow.
Listen to Sean's delivery here.
It was an accident! I fucked up and a cop shot him!
No! No! It's not true!
I'm so sorry!
That's impossible.
Like,
Why did you
that voice acting is really off for me, but I'll explain them.
Both of their
I
voices
was
feel
scared,
off.
Daniel.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Again, it's the same voice director from Before the Storm, so I'm not surprised.
I couldn't believe it either.
Hey, someone call me back when this is over, okay?
Sure. Sorry.
And meanwhile, the dog is barking up a storm.
It's okay.
Hold on, Shiro, it's almost done. And these are calming him down, and it's done. There you go, Shiro. It's done.
Cool.
So there you go. Daniel has psychic powers. That's the supernatural character in this game. So already, I have a major question. Okay, I forgot. Okay, I thought the appeal of the series is you play as a character who has a supernatural power. Hence the name Life is Strange, and you get to use that power in various ways to interact with the world. That was one of the big draws of the first game. In this game, this is also the same thing in True Colors, where you can feel, read, and alter people's emotions in True Colors. In this game, however, you're not the one with the powers. So I don't know. What a weird choice. Why are you not the one with the powers?
I wonder, are there consequences if you promise to never lie to him again, but then the story has a situation where you have to lie to him?
No, you never really get to properly control what Daniel does with his powers, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so from what I can understand, legit, the only things that actually influence the story are the moral choices.
Basically, yeah.
Wow, it's really convenient that they were the only two staying in this motel, huh?
Yeah.
No one else heard any of that, right?
Like, keep in mind, the lights were flickering that whole row, which would imply stuff was going on in those other rooms.
There's shaking and screaming.
This also
dogs barking.
This also explains what happened in the first part. When Esteban got shot, Daniel's powers awakened, and that's where the explosion came from. Daniel had a psychic explosion that killed the cop. So again, the cops have no way of tying the murder to Sean and Daniel, because how do you even investigate a psychic power explosion? It makes no sense that Sean and Daniel are the suspects of a quote-unquote police shooting.
Like, okay, maybe the cop's body is so battered from crashing into that car, but again, I'm pretty sure an autopsy report would probably reveal no bullets.
Yeah.
Bullet holes in him.
Not even just that, Joe. Even if his body is battered, like you said, what evidence do we have that it was Sean or Daniel who did that?
Like, okay. The newspaper does say that they're suspects. It doesn't say that they are, like, guaranteed the bad guys on everything, but again, I'm sorry. At the very least, make it more clear what they actually suspect these kids of. Because like I mentioned, the way the newspaper is written doesn't even make sense as a newspaper.
Yeah, and here we go. Now he's telling the story of the beginning of the game, but with them as wolves.
But one day, hunters took their dad away.
Yes, I'm sure telling the kid a story about that trauma will certainly make things better.
It'd be like if someone was bitten and nearly poisoned by a scorpion. Yeah, nearly poisoned to death by a scorpion. I know. I'll show you a nice movie before you go to bed. How about the Scorpion King?
Hey, look, it's the ending of Terminator 2. The ending of Terminator 2.
Or even better, the mummy returns. That way you'll know what can scare him first, the scorpion or the terrible CGI Dwayne Johnson.
I'm sorry, but... And I get it, the game's trying to be charming, calming, serene with this, but... No, I'm sorry, this is just laughably bad. Really? Almost no one else on a coach bus? Really?
Well, Jim, it's late at night.
No. That's a coach bus. Like, those are buses that go, statewide or something. Like, there's, very few people on it, surprisingly.
You mean
it's impossible, but it's weird.
You mean to tell me that these French people don't know how transportation in America works? I'm so shocked.
I mean... It's weird. It's weird for me to describe it. Like, on the one hand, well, maybe I do, but I guess in a sense, I don't feel as annoyed as I did with Life is Strange 1. Though, part of that is because this story is even worse than Life is Strange 1. I think, admittedly, part of the frustration from Life is Strange 1 does come from people who go, oh, I see myself in Chloe, and that makes her a good character. And I'm like, no! No, that does not.
If you see a part of yourself in Chloe, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why Life is Strange 1 annoyed... Well, you know what? Actually, I think the easier reason is that Life is Strange 1 was actually closer to being a potential...
And that was episode 1, Roads.
Yeah, Life is Strange 1 was closer to being a good game. So I guess it annoyed me that we couldn't get to that point. Life is Strange 2? No, not even close.
So yeah, here are all your choices.
It says something that at most I think I can say that the one well-written character so far is Brody. Everyone, okay, Doris, but let's be honest, she's just there for a bit role.
Alright, preview for episode 2.
Come on, man. Focus.
Okay.
Trust me. You can do it.
You lied to me before.
Oh, it's a training montage on his powers.
Yeah, they're gonna practice the psychic powers.
Strength flows through the force.
Alright.
Oh, that was stupid.
And that was episode 1, everybody.
Yeah,
all we need is to Square to get the license to make a Star Wars game, and then everything's complete.
Alright, so yeah, that was episode 1. Shiroi, what are your thoughts on all the wacky shenanigans?
Well, that was a roller coaster. The Life is Strange 1 stuff didn't really matter, especially since they didn't even acknowledge it. You did get a nice moment. I mean, the guy that helped them out, he seems fine enough, they were a little on the nose with the rest of it. Huh?
Wait, Shiroi.
Screaming in your face.
Hold on, Shiroi. A little on the nose?
Just a
Please,
little bit.
please, Shiroi. These guys are fucking Pinocchio. Seriously, on the nose. These guys are fucking eating the
on
nose.
The nose, like that guy's foot on that kid's face.
Jesus,
a little
fucking.
on the nose.
Oh my god, it's racism as tackled by a 10-year-old. I just
I don't know. I think a lot of 10-year-olds might actually have a better grasp about it, to be honest.
Oh my god. Wow.
That's it for me as far as this episode goes.
Yeah, that was quite the experience, everybody. But we're not done. We still have 4 episodes of this shit.
Oh no! This is apparently just the beginning.
Oh no! Trust me. If you thought the bigot in this part was ridiculous, wait till we get to episode 4. Episode 4 has some of the worst writing I've ever seen in anything. But whatever. We'll get to that eventually. For now, see you for episode 2, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.